At the moment, it doesn't look like... Oh, there we go. It's saying it's starting stream now, so that's a good sign. My friends, I do apologize if this is lower quality than you are used to. At the moment, I was trying to find all of the content and all the things on YouTube really quickly because my computer, just a little while ago, the hard drive was actually failing on it, so I had to wipe out all of the programs that I had loaded. One of the programs was Wirecast, which is actually what I'm using to take the webcam on my computer and send it out to YouTube. So because that was not there, I had to very quickly get it back onto my computer, and I haven't had time to change the resolution settings yet. So I will get that sorted out, hopefully before the next time that we do our chat here. That way it actually looks a little bit better. At the moment, it says that we don't have anyone watching, which is totally fine. Wanted to let you guys know about some of our pieces, make some announcements for you guys as we begin. Now it's saying that there is one person that is watching, which is fantastic. If you are watching and you have signed up for Edmodo, go ahead and get yourself signed into Edmodo. If you're watching this video and you have not signed up for Edmodo, you can go onto our website, newfangledbookclub.wordpress.com, and that will let you sign up for, if you go to the sign up part, that will actually get you onto our email newsletter, so it'll announce when things are going to be coming up. And if you go to the Get Involved tab, that's underneath sign up, that will give you information on getting onto Edmodo. And if all else fails, if you're not able to figure it out, my email is listed under the Contact Us portion of the website. And so you'll be able to contact me, Nick Mattson. My email address is NICKM, M as in monkey, at communitylibrary.net, and you can let me know any questions that you might have, and I should be able to help you out with those pieces there. It says that we have 2 people watching, which is fantastic. Thank you so much for watching this evening. If you guys want to, you can get onto Edmodo and you can actually talk back and forth and have a discussion with us. Right now, I just have something that says, "Hey everyone" on Edmodo, so if you are watching, feel free to reply to that stream there. Today, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of background information on Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard, share with you some of the resources that I found on Rick Riordan's site. Rick Riordan is the author of our book this month, Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard, The Sword of Summer. Super cool. Ashlyn is watching the stream. Ashlyn, thank you so much for checking in with us tonight. Really appreciate it. And a question for you, Ashlyn, and everyone that is on there. Have you started reading Magnus Chase? And if you would like to respond to that, you can go ahead and respond there. If you have any questions for me, go ahead and respond there as well. I will admit to you, my friends, that I have not started reading Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard, The Sword of Summer at this time. So I do very much apologize for that. That is not cool on my part, and I am going to be doing better about that and actually reading the book along with you guys. So at the moment, haven't read it, but I can still be answering those questions for you guys right now. So Ashlyn is the one that is reading right now, and if you are on Edmodo a little bit later today or later this week, or you are watching the stream later, feel free to jump onto Edmodo and answer any of the questions that you have right now, or any of the questions that we post while we're chatting right now, which is something that's kind of cool. So the question right now, Ashlyn, is, have you been enjoying Magnus Chase? Is it something that you are enjoying reading right now? Enjoying reading this month's book. So So right now, Ashlyn is the one that is watching live and also checked in on Edmodo. So she's actually able to respond in real time. If you're watching this video afterwards, or you join us in just a little bit, you can always log on to Edmodo and answer all the questions that are on our Sword of Summer small group. And you can respond to any of the streams that we have on here. So even if you're not on here from 7 to 7:30, you can still answer these questions a little bit later. So, right now, Ashlyn wants to stream, which is fantastic. It says right now we just have one person that is watching it, which is totally fine. That's probably just Ashlyn. And that is fantastic. Ashlyn, thank you for being the one that is watching right now. My friends, right now, I want to draw your attention to a website. And the website actually is about Rick Riordan. And it actually has a whole bunch of information about the Sword of Summer. And so I'm going to share that over on Edmodo right now. And you guys can take a look at that. And let me see. Give me just a second here as I share that. And you can let me know some of the things that you think about these pieces and about what you think about the website itself. On the website, a cool website put together by Rick Riordan about Magnus Chase. So you can take a look at the Magnus Chase website, and I've shared that over on Edmodo right now. And Ashlyn is saying that she would definitely recommend it to friends, which is high praise in my book. A lot of the time, if it's a book that I want to read, I'm going to be asking those around me and say, have you read it? Is that something that you have enjoyed? So it being something they want to recommend to friends, that's fantastic. At the moment, my friends, what I'm thinking we're going to do is if you have any questions for me or any questions for other people that are reading the book, go ahead and post them over on Edmodo, and then people can log on to Edmodo and answer those questions right now or later on when they log on to Edmodo or when they catch this video afterwards. My friends, something else that I'm going to be doing later this week is giving you guys some read-alikes to Magnus Chase. So if you like this book, I'm going to give you some suggestions and say, hey, if you like this one, these are some other books that you might enjoy as well. The Percy Jackson series and the Kane Chronicles, which are also by Rick Riordan, are some obvious read-alikes. They are going to be kind of reading very similarly to Magnus Chase, as they're written by the same author, but they all deal with different mythologies, which gives them just a little bit of a different taste, which can be a lot of fun as well. So those are first books to start off on, but there's many other books that I can suggest to you guys, and I'll be putting those up on Edmodo in the next couple of days here. So that is something else you guys can take a look at over on Edmodo in the next couple of days here. Let's see, there was something else that I wanted to mention to you guys, and that is just some information about Rick Riordan himself. And I'm getting that off of that website that I sent to you. It also has some information about Rick Riordan as an author. So let me see here. We're just going to click on an interview with Rick Riordan, which is also a link that you guys can get to if you would like to. And before we do that, though, let's just get a quick breakdown, just a quick rundown of Rick Riordan. Rick Riordan is the #1 New York Times best-selling author of over 20 novels for young readers, including the Percy Jackson series, the Kane Chronicles, the Magnus Chase series, and the Trials of Apollo. He is also the author of the multi-award-winning Tres Navarre mystery series for adults, which is actually where he started, which is interesting. I didn't know that. For 15 years, Rick taught English and history at public and private middle schools in the San Francisco Bay Area and in Texas. While teaching in San Antonio, St. Mary's Hall honored him with the school's first Master Teacher Award. While teaching full-time, Riordan began writing mystery novels for grown-ups. His Trace Navarre series went on to win the top 3 national awards in the mystery genre: the Edgar, the Anthony, and the Seamus. Riordan turned to children's fiction when he started writing The Lightning Thief as a bedtime story for his oldest son. Today, over 50 million copies of his books are in print in the United States, and rights have been sold into more than 37 countries, which means there's 38 countries that have Rick Riordan books in their country. Rick Riordan now writes full-time. He lives in Boston with his wife and 2 sons. So that's just a quick little bit about Rick Riordan. If you continue to look on that website, it's going to give you more information about all of those books that he has. Now, a question that Ashley has is, to anyone who looks at this, who has started reading the books, would you recommend it to friends? Ashlyn, thank you for that question. And anyone that goes on Edmodo or watches this video, log yourselves into Edmodo and see, would you guys recommend this book to friends as well? Let's see what other information we have here about Rick Riordan. That's just kind of a broad overview. I want to give you a little bit more information right now. A little bit more about Rick Riordan, and then I'm going to get into a little bit more about the Magnus Chase and the mythology that's behind that as well. Let me see, which questions did I want to go over with you guys? Oh, you wrote novels. I'm going to think about that. Percy Jackson. So this is a question about how Rick Riordan actually got going as an author. Did you always know you wanted to be a writer? How did you get started? This is what Rick Riordan writes. I wrote a lot of short stories when I was young, and even sent a few in that got rejected. My very first rejection note was from Isaac Asimov's science fiction magazine in 1978. My mother saved this for years and brought it out after I got published. I was never serious about writing in college. I focused most of my creative energy on music and was lead singer in a folk rock band, if you can believe it. After college, I became a teacher and was quite happy with the idea of doing that the rest of my life. However, I wrote a lot of mystery books in my spare time, and when my wife and I moved to San Francisco, I started missing Texas. I started on a lark that I would try writing a hard-boiled private eye novel set in my hometown of San Antonio. 10 months later, Big Red Tequila was finished. The strange thing is, I had a feeling that Big Red Tequila was going to get published. It just felt different than anything else I'd ever written, because the novel had practically forced me to write it. The idea took me by the throat and wouldn't let go until the manuscript was done. I tell aspiring writers that you have to find what you must write. When you find it, you will know, because the subject matter won't let you go. It's not enough to write simply because you think it would be neat to be published. You have to be compelled to write. If you're not, nothing else that you do matters. For me, that meant getting away from home for a while and learning to appreciate what I knew, because I could follow the old axiom, write about what you know. Percy Jackson felt the same way that Big Red Tequila did. Percy was a character who just insisted on springing to life. So that kind of gives you some information about why Rick Riordan started off with the Percy Jackson series, The Lightning Thief, which was the first book, and Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard, the book that we're reading now, is another series that kind of exists in the same universe as Percy Jackson. Let's see here. One thing Ashlyn says is, I never knew he used to be a singer, and neither did I. I find that really interesting as well. Let's see here. How do you choose? Many people are comparing. A question. A lot of the time when we do our face-to-face talks, we talk about Harry Potter. So here's a question. Many people are comparing your series to Harry Potter. Are there similarities? And this is what Rick Riordan writes. With any new children's fantasy, comparisons to Harry Potter are inevitable. J.K. Rowling sets the standard for books that connect with kids, and adults too, for that matter. As far as similarities between Percy and Harry, I would say a couple of things. First, recognize that Percy Jackson and Harry Potter are similar because they draw on the same sources in folklore and mythology. The idea of a young boy finding out he is special, trained to use his abilities, and defeating an evil villain to take his rightful place in the world, this is the story of Harry and Percy. It's also the story of Perseus, Theseus, and, Yeah, Theseus and Hercules. Narratives that are over 3,000 years old. Most of the elements people point out as similarities with the two stories come straight from mythology. The Harry Potter series uses folklore and mythology to beautiful effect, but J.K. Rowling did not invent those elements. Secondly, Percy and Harry are very different kids who live in very different worlds. Camp Half-Blood is full of magic and mystery, yes, but it is a unique flavor that is totally unlike Hogwarts. Percy and Harry come from different backgrounds. They don't have the same issues with parents. Percy's a bit more of a troublemaker than Harry, I think. He's used to being labeled the bad boy and has gotten kicked out of numerous schools, though this is never entirely his fault. Which is interesting because this is actually my sideline. It's interesting that he mentions that about Percy, because Magnus Chase also deals with some of those same issues there. Harry is likely to restrain his friends if they get in a fight. Percy is more likely to punch a bully in the nose. They do share common ground. Both have enormous power and responsibility thrust upon them before they are ready. Both are brave. Both have to face their worst fears and rely on a small group of loyal friends. But their stories are quite different. I think readers will see readers will see that when they read The Lightning Thief. Having said that, I do hope readers of Harry Potter will enjoy my series. Of course, any comparison to Rowling is high praise because I'm a huge fan of her work. I totally understand why kids love Harry Potter. The effect those books have had on young readers is hard to overestimate. In my years as a teacher, I've never seen anything that energizes students like Harry Potter. I used to come into my classroom and find students reading Sorcerer's Stone for the 13th or 14th time just because they wanted to. I would say, that's a great book, but aren't you getting tired of it? The students would always look at me sadly and say, yes, but there just isn't anything else this good. After hearing that for a few years, I realized that there was an unfulfilled need for more children's literature that impacted kids the way Harry Potter did. I decided to try doing something about it. I knew young readers. I understood what they liked. The Lightning Thief is the result. Whether I succeeded or not, I'll let the kids decide. So that's just a little bit of information about what Rick Riordan says about comparisons between the Percy Jackson series, kind of similar to Magnus Chase, and also the Harry Potter series. So that was something that I wanted to read to you guys. We're going to bounce over to Edmodo right now, see if anyone else has commented. And at the moment, we haven't, which is totally fine. I'm going to give you just a little bit more information about our pieces over on that Rick Riordan website and see what we see here. There's actually someone else that has commented on Edmodo. And Olivia A says, hi, Olivia. Glad you could be over here on Edmodo. Hello. Just letting you know, Olivia, if you're watching on YouTube, we actually you can comment on that main part of the Newfangled page, but you can also comment on our Sword of Summer small group, which is kind of nice as well, because then everything that we talk about while we're here doing our live chat is contained over on the Sword of Summer. So let me give you that website, or you can click on it on the left-hand side of Edmodo, which is convenient too. I'm also chatting on our Sword of Summer small group page if you'd like to join us over there. So let me get that link for her real fast here, and then we'll continue our discussion real quick. Right there. And reply. Okay. Eventually, my friends, I will perfect the ability to talk to you while I'm typing, but at this time, I cannot do that. So, now that we have that aspect going on, let Olivia know what's going on over there. And it looks like we also have a couple of other notifications over on Edmodo right now. Most excellent. So, let's see. What else do we want to... Popular... There's another part over here that also has a couple more questions. And there was a question about how did he get the names for the characters in his books, and I'm trying to track that down because I thought that his answer was interesting. Always not going to be a writer to get published advice. Don't you choose? And of course, I'm not able to find it right now. But basically, Rick Riordan was saying that some of those names were actually taken from mythology, but some of the names were just names that he thought would be interesting to have in a book. So that was kind of that main part right there. Now let's see what other information we want to talk about right now. My friends, there is a Viking verbiage. Was this the thing that I was thinking of? Sorry, got to check through. I took a look at these things, but now I'm having a hard time keeping track of where they actually were. One of them, my friends, actually has a appendix of who is who in Greek mythology, which gives you an opportunity that if you're having a hard time keeping some of the stories straight, it gives you some of those stories and some of those characters. So I'm going to share that right now over on Edmodo. That way you guys have that information. In Norse mythology, as well as other cool resources. And I'm going to share that with you guys as we speak. And I'm going to keep talking this time, but if I keep talking, I'm just going to keep saying the same things over and over again. So at the moment, it's thinking about sharing it with you, and then we'll be able to actually talk for real here. Here's Summer Educator's Guide. Olivia asked a question, how long ago did Sword of Summer come out? And Olivia, that is an excellent question. Let me look that up for you real fast. Sword of Summer release date. When did it come out? October 6th, 2015. So October 6th, 2015 was when the Sword of Summer came out. The second book, which I believe is the Hammer of Thor. Let's see when that one comes out. October 4th. Actually, this one just came out. The second book, the Hammer of Thor, just came out on October 4th, 2016. Now, if you look through that website about Rick Riordan and look through the series on Magnus Chase, there's going to be a third book that is going to come out, I'm assuming probably next year sometime. So we'll have to keep our eye out for that one as well, which is kind of cool. Now, another thing that I thought was kind of cool was that Annabeth Chase, who is actually in the Percy Jackson series, well, the Heroes of Olympus series, is actually the cousin of Magnus Chase. So there's a little bit of interconnectivity between the Magnus Chase series and the Percy Jackson series, which is something else that Rick Riordan has done before, which is actually another question that we can take a look at. Oh, that was over this way, I think. Together with Percy Jackson, he is the Kane Chronicles. He seemed to be in two different universes. Then Rick Riordan actually merged those two. He actually did a crossover story that showed that those worlds were actually one and the same universe. So this is what Rick Riordan says about that. This is the question. Would you ever do a crossover series with Kane characters and Percy Jackson characters? And here we go. Because of your interest, I decided to write a series of short stories in which the Kane children meet the demigods. In the first, The Son of Sobek, Carter Kane meets Percy Jackson. In the second, The Staff of Serapis, Sadie Kane meets Annabeth Chase. The third crossover story, The Crown of Ptolemy, brings all four characters together. So just like he was kind of winding the Kane Chronicles and Percy Jackson together, we also see that Annabeth Chase from the Percy Jackson books is the cousin of Magnus Chase in this series over here, which I think is something that's really cool, that he was saying that all of those characters exist in the same universe, which is something that we're seeing with the DC Comics universe that we're seeing on screen, and also in that Marvel universe that we're seeing on the big screen, having all these different characters, but having them exist all in the same universe. So their stories can start to overlap and interconnect, which makes things really interesting in my mind. Let's see what's going on here. I want to check real fast and see if the third book in the Magnus Chase series actually has a release date set yet. And let me check that for you right now. Magnus Chase Book 3 release dates. It looks like the first one was released in October of 2015, second one released in October of 2016, so I'm wondering the third one might be released in October of 2017, but we'll have to keep our eye out for that one. My friends, we are drawing actually kind of close to the end of our chat today. One thing that I want to share is the official book trailer of Percy Jackson. I'm sorry, not Percy Jackson. The Magnus Chase book. So I'm going to share a YouTube link of that official trailer and see if you guys are interested in that aspect of things as well. I find that book trailers are interesting because it can raise more interest in the book that you're reading. So I'm going to share that real fast. Aha! Ashlyn found it for us actually what the release date is for the third book. It's going to be October 3rd, 2017. Thank you for finding that, Ashlyn. I appreciate it. Right now, I'm going to share the Magnus Chase official trailer. Magnus Chase. Whoa. Magnus Chase official book trailer. Going to share that on Edmodo. And Olivia asked how long the digital chats last. And they last for 30 minutes. So we go on second Tuesdays. We go from 7 to 7:30 p.m. And on fourth Tuesdays, we come to the Hayden Library and we meet from 4:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. every fourth Tuesday. So this month, it is going to be November 22nd. So 2 weeks from today, from 4:30 to 5:30 right here at the Hayden Library. They last from 7 to 7:30 p.m. on second Tuesdays. So my friends, that's just about all the time that we have for today. If you have any other questions, feel free to put them onto Edmodo, or you can email me, nickm@communitylibrary.net, and I will get back to you about those questions. Feel free to keep talking amongst yourselves or post questions that other people can view later and respond to. Thank you so much for watching our chat tonight, and we will catch you guys hopefully on the fourth Tuesday of this month, 4:30 to 5:30 right here at the Hayden Library on November 22nd. And if not, we'll see you guys next month on the second Tuesday right here once again online. We can watch that live stream on YouTube and also typing to each other on Edmodo. Thanks again so much for joining us, and we will catch you guys later. Have a good night.